Okay, now this is way more beads than I'm going to need for the bracelet. I'm going to make a cubic bling bling bracelet in 6mm, so 6mm cubes and 6mm rondelles and 6mm rounds. Now this is way more beads than I need, but this is my part of the design process where I pick which colors I'm going to use, and I'm not sure I'm going to use all of these. These are the Swarovski cubes. And you can see we have white opal and the violet opal, and I believe that's the fuchsia, and this is a new color, the dark red coral, and this would be the ruby, and we have rose and light rose, and some of the crystal clear. And I'm just sort of thinking about how I want to arrange these, and I kind of get a sense of where I'm going before I actually do the bracelet. So it's, what am I going to do? I can do something that shades. Oh, that means, see, that's the crystal. Some of these may be AB. So I can think about, see, now that's nice, and I could just repeat that pattern. That's nice. Well, let's try stringing it and see how it looks. Stringing. So here we go with the this is the soft flex and this is the medium size cable. So now we'll start with that, and this uses a lot of the rondelles, but to great effect. And you can't just string squares and squares and squares and squares, because then you get something that won't bend and it won't go around your wrist. It would probably work for a necklace, but won't work for a bracelet. So we put the round beads in here because it makes the whole thing flex better. So then another, and this really has an amazing look, this bracelet, when it's completed. It's so rich and stunning looking. You can see it's starting to shape up already, that it is just, it really is a traffic stopper. Graduation present. This would make a nice graduation present. We do a lot of work with the corsage project, which gets we help make jewelry for young girls who might not attend their graduation party otherwise. So this looks like the sort of thing that one might make for a young girl who's got lengths. So now if I take that one out, just take that off and put it might be a little short. Just slide that. And now I'm going to cut this, not too short. Cut it about there so I have some extra. Bead stoppers would have been a good idea too, to prevent stuff from accidentally falling off the end. The things you think of afterwards. Now, that would probably be the right size for somebody a little more slender than I am. I think it wants an extra bead or something. One of the things I really hate about bracelets is if the clasp is the lightest part of the bracelet, it will ride up to the top of your wrist and you wind up looking at the clasp all the time. So in which case I will often put a dangle on it or try and put a heavier clasp. And I'm going to put this square filigree magnetic clasp in here. Now this clasp, see, it sits down in there so it's not too inclined to slide out. Crimps, little sterling tubes. So we start by putting the crimp on and slide the clasp, half of the clasp on, and then go back through the crimp. And we have a pair of crimp pliers here. The crimp pliers have two sets of holes. The second one is for the first crimp. How intuitive is that? And so what it does is it squishes it and puts a line between the two pieces of cable. So you have to make sure they're lying flat and side by side. And so we're going to do that, and you squash that down hard, and then the magnet sticks to your pliers. Just get around that by holding it that way. And then we're going to fold this up so that it's kind of in a nice neat tube. Okay, now this tail, we're just going to tug on that, make sure that's well attached. We're going to cut this tail off. We're not going to stuff it back down through the beads, because if the crimp is not secure, that little extra ½ inch is not going to buy you anything. You just make sure you don't cut through the wrong wire when you do that. So, and the holes on these are so big that that's fitting right down nice and neat. And we want to make sure that we don't get this too tight, because then you can see as I tighten it up, it gets this kind of wonky look. Not nice. So it needs to be relaxed. And the other crimp, the other half of the clasp, which I was saying, now I've lost it. So we're going to snug that up, and as I said, not too tight. We know that this bead will slide up over that crimp, so it's going to relax a little bit. Okay, not that relaxed. The thing that makes jewelry look really finished is the finishing part of it. If you once you made some of your own, and then you start to look at some of the jewelry you already have, and you go, oh, geez, that's not as nice as I thought it was. Let's just move that out of the way. We need to keep looking at that. All right. So let's see if we can't crimp this. And there we go, and fold it over, so turn 90 degrees and fold it up tight. Normally when I'm doing this, I work with magnification because I just can't see the detail that well anymore. So don't be afraid to get out your reading glasses. And that's nice and tight. It's not going to come loose, slip out. Trim this off. Being very careful not to trim the wrong piece off, because we just have to restring it again at this point. This is where magnetic clasps make me crazy. They stick to the pliers. And we just get in there and discover the cutters are going. There we go. Alrighty. So there we have it. And it curves up nicely. Voila!